Welcome to Louisiana Heartbeats. I'm Sudie Landry, and with me today is Neal Bertrand of Cypress Cove Publishing. We are starting a new adventure. To Acadiana, we want to let you know that we represent a lot of authors. We ourselves are authors, and we want to invite you who have the desire to write, publish, to connect with us because we are doing events now that are locking us in at different locations. Right now, one has got us locked in for the year, the first Saturday of every month, and that is Grand Coteau, Louisiana, the Thensted Center there, which is also used as a place of donations to help the people in need in that town. Well, let me give you a little bit of background. First of all, I want to thank Neal Bertrand for coming on.
Thank you, Sudie.
And he's a good friend, and we got connected with the Writers Guild of Acadiana. And because there's so many people who with awesome stories out there who are wanting to get published, when Neal became part of the Writers Guild, he began to have a desire in his heart to help people get on the right path to get their publications done. Needless to say, free advice and things like that. Well, Neal and I have teamed up and decided that not only are we going to be showcasing ourselves, because now he is my publisher and he has released 4 of my books, that we would also go through doors and ask for doors to be opened so that we could invite other authors to come in. And we were really blessed. And Neal and I went to LeCount, Louisiana a month ago, and we showcased my books then. And while we were there, Acadiana, ask not, receive not, Neal, and we said, hey, would anybody else be interested in us coming back? And not only that, we know a lot of authors that would love to come out here. Well, in LeCount, Louisiana, we were blessed. These people were so inviting. They did everything they could. They publicized that we were coming. They let us keep the 100% of the profits so that, and we were blessed with gas money. But not everybody can do that. But we want to send a huge thank you to LeCount, Louisiana, the Johnson Library, who was used to open the first door. While we were there, we also were asked if we would consider bringing our authors and ourselves to maybe 10 other libraries. So with one visit, that was 11 possible bookings right there. And then from there, it was so easy, we were so welcome, then Neal and I sat down and decided, we're not doing this just for ourselves. We want to help others. So Neal, as a publisher who makes a living at this, is doing this free by teaming up with me. And right now, our first jump start to a wave of showcasing authors will be this coming Saturday, March 5th. You may see this afterwards, but hey, mark your calendars, because the Thensted Center in Grand Coteau, Louisiana is going to keep booking us the first Saturday of every month from 10 to 2 p.m. Right now, Neal and I are going to go in. He's going to showcase some of the authors that he's got with his publishing company, and I'm going to go in as his first featured author. And then the next month, it'll be featuring another author who we already know will be Diana Alexander, the only survivor of Derek Todd Lee, the serial killer. So, without further ado, let's just share with them why we want to do this, Neal, and who's going to benefit from all this, because we're doing it free. We're inviting you to come out. And how are you going to be sharing your expertise with your company here?
Well, it's good to have the people come out, good to spread the word about publishing books. There's a lot of people in Acadiana who have a book inside their heart, and they don't know how to get the book out into a regular book or an ebook. And I have done this many times, and we have the experience and the knowledge to help people get your book into print or get it as a digital ebook. And so I would like to meet you. If you can come on out to these events, talk with me. I can give you some advice on how to get started. And that's I think, the best way to go about it.
Okay. Well, for people who do not know who Neal Bertrand is, other than a good friend of mine and now my personal publisher, he has many cookbooks out there. He's also known as the cookbook dude. I got to get that straight. Cookbook dude. He has put out a lot of recipes and different cookbooks, but he just started venturing out and representing other authors. And so let's talk a little bit about the author, House for Eliza. I mean, was that your first person that you showcased?
Well, the first book that I did was for an artist by the name of Keith Douillon, who is a cartoonist, and he drew images for a coloring book, a Cajun coloring book. So I did that book in 2001. That was my first book I ever published under my company name, Cypress Cove Publishing. And then as I was in the process of writing my book, Dad's War of Photos, Adventures in the South Pacific, I had a call from a former co-worker who had spent 13 years researching a book on her family history. And so she said, "Do you want to publish my book for me?" And I said, "Well, I'm busy doing something else." So she says, "Well, come on, you can take some time off to help me with this." So I did. So I published A House for Eliza. That's by Constance Moniz. And then she came out with another book of 3 short stories called Never Say Goodbye. And so that is pretty much a brand new book. It just came out a few months ago. And so those books are doing well. And what I do for the authors, not only do I put their books on Amazon in paperback and Kindle, but also through other avenues like Barnes & Noble. And so I try to cover all the bases, Sudie. Not just a paperback book or not just an ebook, but I try to cover all the bases to get the most sales.
Okay, so that is his livelihood, Acadiana. But this show is about someone who's made a living doing this, now offering his services to help other people get discovered, lead them down the right path of choice as to what area of publishing. Do they want to do a softback book? Do they want to do a hardcover? Do they want to do ebooks? And so he tends to be open to answering your questions or guiding you to the right resource. Today we want to share again and bring out some of the things that the Lord has done for us in our effort to get out there and feature and get a book autograph signing, book events. Other doors are being opening for us to help other authors. For example, like I mentioned, thank you, LeCount, Louisiana, Johnson Branch Library. Special thanks goes out to the manager, Elizabeth Parrish, and also Mrs. Mary Rabelais. Thanks to you, it was a fantastic outpouring and reception of what was going on. And from that point, then now we just got notified that other libraries there are interested in Neal's Dad for War Photos. They're even putting it in the public libraries. They have ordered some of my books and they put it in the public libraries. So what Neal and I are talking about, we don't want to be selfish. We're going in there, and yet by sharing who you are, if you're out there, if you'd like to be a part of this great adventure, it's going to be ongoing. We're just starting this as a wave to start the beginning, the first of many book signings. Okay, so Neal informs me today that he's got some more bookings, thank God. And then my sister informed me that there's other people ordering the books. And look, all it took was one person tell somebody else, and from that situation, it has grown to now, I believe you said you had some calls from Thibodaux, Louisiana.
And Houma.
Houma, Louisiana, and it's libraries.
Yeah.
So what it is, Acadiana, is that, there's a lot of authors that would love to get their books out there, but can't go through the protocol that different bookstores offer. So we're offering to showcase you free. We're offering to help you get the resources you need, just sending you in the right direction. But in order to have each author be successful, the author yourself, you have to get out there and do something. So Neal and I decided we're going to do something. We're going to do something for ourselves, but we're going to do something for you too. So for that said, then we are now, Neal has an Thibodaux, Louisiana, Thibodaux Library. He has a booking on the 10th of March. Our first event is the 5th of March. It's a Saturday. And then Neal has the Thursday, which is the 10th. And guess what? The second Saturday of the month, we're now invited to Opelousas, Louisiana at a gift shop.
Right.
Okay? But we're going in there with our books, but guess what? She's wanting to line up other authors to go in there after us. So we're just going through that door and holding it open for you, the author that decides to join our event. To really know a little bit more about us, it would be nice if you would be able to come out and visit this weekend and support this outreach. It's a Thensted Outreach Center, really. They help the needy in the neighborhood. So we decided, you know what? Not only are they letting us have this for a whole year on the first Saturday of every month, Grand Coteau salutes to you. Thank you very much. But also, they are also going to receive something else that we didn't even know we were going to be doing. We want to encourage people to bring canned goods, toiletries. If you want to come out and just hear the authors that's out there, but also know that this is an outreach center. So it's like a win-win situation.
Right.
Come hear a great author and also donate to a good cause in a small town with a big heart. So that happens this weekend, March 5th, okay? And then Opelousas, of course, is on the 12th. Then after that, we start booking the first Saturday for different people. The second Saturday, I think we come over the second and the fourth. We'll always share it on Facebook. And therefore, if you know someone is interested, just, have them contact us and get on the list. And we do want to showcase different genres, and different writing styles. And like right now, I think it's going to be, us going through the door, and then we've lined up a true story. Then we want to do children. And so, we just have to team up, one event at a time.
Networking.
Networking is the key, huh, Neal?
That's right.
I find with networking, word of mouth is great, but guess what? Just because you wrote a book, author, doesn't mean it's going to sell just because you put it out there. You got to let people know it's out there. You got to let them know how to find it. And I have the opportunity to just keep on keeping on sharing. And I can tell you, once it is, we do videos. Hopefully we'll be able to start videoing our events, and from there we can put that on Facebook and YouTube. And from there you'll be able to see that networking is really working for many people. But you've got to be part of it. You want your book out there discovered by somebody else, you want to tell your story, first you got to write it. And this is what I learned at Acadiana. There's a big difference between printing and publishing. And after teaming up with Neal Bertrand and learning something about what he does and going through the steps of publishing my own book through Neal, I can tell you, wow, there's a whole lot more going on than a lot of people know. And to be sure that you, no matter what, if you want your story told, you need to hook up with somebody who's trustworthy. You need to do your homework. You need to read as much as you can on how to go about doing, so that when you get your material together, you know what you're talking about, and then you can hand it to your publisher of choice. Now, let's get back to the fundraising thing. It started off with us wanting to, since these people are offering us these locations, just this one here, the Thensted, that's definitely an outreach, okay? So we're going to help them in that way. Other people who are just libraries, what are we going to do? We're going to give them credit and say thank you in any way we can, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, whatever.
That's right.
So we do want to show appreciation to anyone who's going to open the door for us. When it comes to fundraising, a lot of people are like, oh, no, not another fundraiser. But when it comes to a need, okay, I really think that Thensted is going to receive a lot of great benefits from us being there, because we have a lot of good people in our area. If you don't have money, you can always share. We're always willing to feed people, clothe people with good hearts. That's right. Well, let's talk about the Thibodeau Library. Neal, how in the world did they end up getting in touch with you? You had been somewhere before, and I think they heard about you.
I think this was because of a publicity article that was in one of the newspapers. They saw that,
Okay.
and they contacted me. And so it's open doors. It's like stepping stone. You take one step, then another door opens. You take another step, and another door opens. And some of these people, like yesterday, I was calling places, civic organizations in Thibodaux, to try to get them to get their membership to come out on the 10th, March 10th, to the Thibodaux Public Library to hear me talk about my dad's War Photos book. And because I did that, I had a guy in Houma says, you need to come speak to our group. So because we meet at the public library in Houma. So that's an open door. Plus I have an open door to go to Fort Polk, and that's in April.
That's right.
I'm pretty sure.
Yep,
What date is that? You
the
said?
18th of April.
April 18th
On a Monday?
at the Vernon Parish Library. I will be there talking about Dad's War Photos, and of course that is the same town that Fort Polk is at. So we're gonna have a lot of soldiers there. We're gonna do a lot of publicity and get the word out to those people.
What I'm excited about, that whatever we are doing, whatever as a team you and I are doing, I will be having flyers made, and I will be sharing that in any way I can, Facebook and emails. When it's just you going out there, then that's going to be flyers just for you to let people know what you're doing. So when we're going to showcase and feature other authors, we're going to make a flyer. I'm going to have a flyer designed for each and every author. Then it's going to be up to you, the author, to be able to share with your friend list, your connections on Facebook or whatever it is. Emails and what the tweet and all of this. You got to take part in letting people know. And we believe that someone has gone to the extent of, I believe in helping people's dreams come true. My dreams have come true when I least expected. Out of the blue, I wrote my stories in the 1980s, and lo and behold, later this man happened to read one or two and then decided to ask me if he could publish my stories, and then they became books. It was the right timing. And I say that to say this, is there's a lot of good stories out there, and you got the story, you got to write it, and then if the timing is right, when it happens, you'll get it published. You just don't sit back and do nothing, though. You either continue on and finish your story, or you start reading a lot. Reading will give you a lot of information. And so you got to do something more than just, hey, I decided to write my story. Okay, how am I going to start it? I don't know what to say, what you want to tell people about. And I remember someone asking me, what's it going to benefit? Who's it going to benefit? Who's going to be interested in reading the story? I was asked the question why I thought my story many years ago that I did write, why I thought that it was a good story. I said, because I wrote it. Not everybody has the same story to tell. Now, with that said, and going around in circles, I wanted to bring up, Neal, just with you and your dad. Your dad was in the service, okay, and he was great at taking pictures, and pictures tell stories, and from those pictures, you've created this Dad's War Photos, Adventures in the South Pacific. Other people have taken and want to take recipes of their ancestors, some of their own writing, some in pictures. Anything can be made into a story if it's got an interest. For example, with you and your cookbooks. I mean, the rice cooker book. Now, a lot of people knew about that until you published. And then it shows how you can take, you can share that with the world. In the publishing business, I mean, there's printing, there's publishing, there's marketing. There's a whole lot of stuff as a new author. You just don't know where to start. And that's why you have to do your homework. And that's where Neal has come in from his livelihood. And I've sent people to you to just talk with them, to encourage them, and they have been encouraged. And several people that they thought would never publish is going to be published in the future at the right timing. So is that how publishing works?
Well, I was just thinking that if anybody is interested in having their book published, they can contact me, and I will send them an author questionnaire that I put together, and that will really get to the heart of the matter. Why are you publishing this? Why are you writing this? What's in it for you? What's in it for the customer? Okay?
And that's free.
Yeah.
That's free. That's free information.
I'll email you this free document. It's a questionnaire. Read it over, meditate on it. It'll take you longer than 5 minutes to do it, because I have some thought-provoking questions in there that will really get to the motive. Do you want this book as a brochure, like some people do, like a real estate agent who knows a lot about real estate? He can put a book together and call it How to Buy a Home in Louisiana, for example. And he appears to be an expert. He has written this book, and he can give this book out to prospective clients or buyers to say, wow, he's an expert, he wrote a book. That's just one way to get your name out there if that's what you want. Others, they want to write a book and sell 1,000 copies, 10,000, 100,000 copies, so they can make money. That's fine. Others write books just to give away, just to help a nonprofit organization or what have you. So there's different motivations and all that for writing a book.
Okay, and with that said, Neal and I are both we are members of the Writers Guild of Acadiana, and so therefore we automatically want to help our locals. We want to bring them in. We want to help them get the exposure free that they need, and so therefore we really have an outlet, and here we are at Acadiana Open Channel, and we're able to say, hey guys, even though this is his livelihood, here we are. We're offering to help you have your exposure and feature you as an author. Now, these events that we do, I have to make clear, we are showcasing published authors at this time, but that doesn't mean you can't come out and watch and ask questions. We'd be glad to answer some questions for you. That's what it's about.
That's right.
It's helping you understand what it takes to be an author, and I'm sure it would really bless the people that we're featuring out there at these different events by you asking them questions, and then they can share with you maybe some shortcuts, or maybe you could line up with somebody with the same type of interest that you have that's written a book, and they can give you some ideas. Like right now, Acadiana, there is such a huge need for people, for children illustrators. I mean, we need, I heard you say cartoonists, so well, hey, do you know what kind, if you're going to do a child's book, do you know, question, do you know what kind of a technique do you want? Do you want it realistic? I learned that with Neal. Do you want the cover to look realistic, or do you want it cartoon, or do you want it a stick feature? You know, there's just so many things. It's up to you to really you'll have a lot of insight into what really takes. If you ask the questions, you'll get the answers. So with this said, this brings to mind, with the Writers Guild, we have authors that we discovered not only have published a book, but they've also designed their own, illustrated their own characters in the book. So now we have people who want to write books, and so I took it upon myself to take some of my little books that I had, and I shared it with one particular member of the Writers Guild, and he was able to see the difference in the different styles of artwork. So you really have to, you know, kind of know what you want to do. And Neal, I think it's important. I'm going to hand it to you. We have about 3 minutes left. I want you to explain why that front cover and that back cover of any book is so important, so these people who want to be authors can know.
Okay. Here's the philosophy of this. When your book is on the shelf at a bookstore, your book cover, front cover, should be designed to attract people to go and pick up your book. Then once you have accomplished that task, they have picked up your book, what are they going to do? They're going to flip it over to the back cover. Your back cover acts as your sales pitch. You're going to have a pitch, a paragraph of why the customer should buy this book. What's in it for them? And so the way I design my back covers, I have a blurb, talks about the book, why it's important for them to have it. And then some of the books I have what I would call book reviews from certain people of fame, notoriety, of what they think about the book. And that helps give credence and to the book that this is a good book that you should buy.
Okay, and so we're at the end of the show as you see the rolling credits. So I want to remind Acadiana that today was Neal Bertrand. He's with Cypress Cove Publishing. He's also my friend and a member of the Writers Guild, and we are out to help others get your books out there, but we're inviting you to be part of these book signing events where you will be able to sell your books 100%, get all of that profit, and just share with other people what's going on and help other people get exposure. Until then, tune in every Monday night at 9 p.m. Might be you that we're showcasing.